people will do anything to keep their secrets buried. I will always have your back.
LAPD, drop your weapons!
Nigeria Chambers from Big O Belt Media. Courtney, thank you for joining us today. Very excited to talk to you. Fantastic performance. And I also think seeing you step into drama is just continue to show the range and the talent that you have. So this was very excited to watch you in this series and looking forward to much more. I want to ask you about what happens once you step away from a character like this. I mean, this character really does go through a lot considering sexual assault. Which is a very prominent subject, whether it's television and or just real life, but also being in law enforcement as a Black woman and also dealing with the corruption within the system. What does it mean for you, or how do you process turning this off? How do you process the emotions and of everything you have to embody with this character? But when it's all said and done, when you have to detach, what is that process?
It's a process I've yet to kind of nail down. This is my first time ever doing something that was dramatic, and also playing a cop, after dealing with so many things since 2020 and before that, like where we got to see unfortunately got to see a lot of violence on our screens for the past couple years, almost back to back to back. And it was an interesting conversation I had to have with my team, where they were even like, "Hey, Courtney, this is a cop you're auditioning for. Let us know how you feel about that." So even my team was sensitive to me, even auditioning for this role. But when I had gotten it and I had talked to some of the police consultants like Tim and who the character is based off of, Mitzi, it was so refreshing to hear the side of the police world where they too were devastated about the people, the police officers within this culture that have made a terrible name for them. And they talked about how like it affected them greatly to know that they were trying to be the good guys in a world full of like bad apples. So it was nice hearing their backstories. It was nice hearing how much they fought to make people feel safe, because they understood the circumstances and they understood where the community was coming from with the distrust. So that felt entirely healing. Like they talked about that the first maybe day or two we had gotten the roles. We had those conversations and it felt so like, oh, thank God. I didn't want to have it first, but I'm glad they brought it up. And doing really, intense scenes when it comes to talking about police corruption, when it talks about being assaulted by somebody who I thought I could trust, which is my ex-officer, like is an ex-officer, So it was like, it was hard kind of getting myself back to a neutral ground. I had to spend a lot of time in my trailer. I had to spend a lot of time talking to my family. My mom was a major help in, bringing me back to who I am. My friends were great about that, allowing me to have downtime during the weekends to really unwind. And it was me really leaning on my community and the people who supported me the most that allowed me to kind of separate myself, which helped greatly. I'm so grateful for them, because it gets dark. So I'm happy that I was able to lean on them when I could.
Thank you so much for that answer, and I really appreciate the vulnerability, and we love you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Nigeria Chambers again. Have you checked out the other prominent Prime Video series, Cross? I feel there's some interconnective tissue with the storytelling between your character, Roland Ballard, and also in that. I want to ask you, in terms of community, have you talked to that cast, and what does it mean to be leading the charge in this measure of representation?
First of all, I love Cross. Oh, I think that show is so good. I haven't had the opportunity to actually talk to that cast, which sucks. Maybe we're speaking it into existence though. Maybe this will be that. Leading this charge of start opening Ballard and having this dialogue. I think you're right. I think there's a lot of like similarities between and Cross and Ballard when it comes to the trauma that people are experiencing and how it can consume us. Like, oh my gosh, that scene where, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but the scene where Cross experiences his traumatic moment, like, oh my God, it consumes him. And you know, he's still passionate about his job, but it can hold him back a bit. And I think that's what you see kind of with Parker sometimes. Like, it can hold her back. The moments where she's tracking Olivas on her Instagram, like, that's going to hold her back. It's never going to get her where she needs to be. It's not going to heal her. It's not going to get her to, it's not going to make her feel any better. And I think like showing that vulnerability, that trauma that kind of latches onto you, and it's up to us to lean into our communities to help heal us, because we can't do it by ourselves. Like, it's so easy to say, I'll figure it out, I'm fine, I'm good. Please, I think if there's at all what's it called? If there's at all like a message shared between the two, it's leaning on your community and speaking up, because we cannot do it by ourselves. No matter the type of trauma you're experiencing, always lean on your community, who can support you in a very beneficial way.
100% agree. And I also will also say, like, the depiction of what like healing looks like and what support looks like. It's something that's hasn't been like laterally defined, but like we're seeing it now both shows
Yeah.
in terms of that, in terms of leading on the community. So I really appreciate the answer.
Thank you.
Thank you.